of the big wheels, the campus dean, Dr. Jerry Migler from DCB, Dakota College Bono, also the farm business management instructor, Rodney Armstrong. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Great to have you both here. We are talking today about, and we've mentioned this before, I think maybe you were here the first time we talked about the book read panel discussion. And it's like 3 different books throughout the year, right?
There are multiple books throughout the year. The one that they focus on that is used in the classes, and the instructors and a committee gets together in the previous spring, and they select one book that will be used by all the students. But there are some community book reads, and they look at different books. And this year the book is Deeply Rooted: Unconventional Farmers in the Age of Agribusiness. And that's the one that is being used in the classes. A lot of us on campus have been reading, and so the panel discussion, we typically try to do something monthly for on campus and for the community that deals with an aspect of the book. And this year, because of the kind of the connection to farming, and they're looking at 3 farm families, a rancher, New Mexico, I think a dairy farmer in Texas, and then a family farm from the Podol's down by Lemoore, I think it is. And they're crop farmers, and they've been raising different types of varieties. But anyway, one of the premises in the book is that there's kind of agribusiness, corporate agribusiness, and federal farm policy have been they've been part of the reason that farms have gotten bigger and bigger. And we thought, well, it'd be interesting to focus on the federal farm policy aspect of it and just have a conversation. What does it mean to farm families here in our part of the state and across North Dakota? Because it's a little bit more nuanced than the author paints. And so we try to have a critical conversation. So here's what the author says. What's our experience? And we thought it would really be interesting to bring in our farm business management instructors, because they've been working with farm families and they see the impact. So we're going to talk about those types of things.
And this is just general conversation.
General conversation. We will present some things as a panel, but we really want to have interaction with the people that are there, with our students and any community members.
And this happens when?
It's at noon today. We'll have one session at the in Thatcher Hall at the Alumni Conference Room, and then we'll do a repeat session tonight.
Okay, and that's about 7 o'clock or so?
Yeah, at 7 o'clock, same thing.
And that's in the Thatcher Hall as well?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you really can't go wrong. I mean, obviously you want to get as much interest in this as you can. We want to get as many people in there as we can and just have a nice discussion on it.
Yeah. That's been interesting. Rodney can talk maybe just a little bit, because as we were talking about, so what kinds of questions should we maybe pose to the panel, they collect facts and figures. You might talk a little bit about the analysis, and because you actually can document the impact of the federal farm programs over the years.
Yeah, that's correct, and that's why Dr. Migler, I think, asked, particularly Al and I, we kind of work with the more conventional farmers, as opposed to the book talks about unconventional farmers. And yeah, we're going to bring up some slides to show what government payments have meant to the farmers that we work with over the years, how it affects their net farm income, how it helps them to pay their expenses, and really just kind of focus on what it's meant to those people.
And you know, with so many different farming families around the area, a lot of differences. I mean, there'd be some difference of a lot of different situations. So, I mean, like one guy down the road might not have the same kind of feeling about this as, Farmer Johnson and then Farmer Smith down the road. It'd be great to get them together and have them talk about this, along with the experts as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one thing we always bring up, is that every situation is unique, every farm is unique, and a farm that primarily raises beef cattle, for example, looks at this a lot different than a grain farmer. So we try and we'll talk about some of those things.
So this is going to be how it specifically affects the area producers and everything. Right. Okay, and then with the book as it is, I know there's, like you said, there's a rancher from New Mexico, dairy farmer from Texas, and the Podol's from Lemoore. Will the Podol's be up here as well?
Not tonight, but later this spring. We'll be back and we'll talk a little bit about them. But we will actually have one of their family members here for a future book read presentation.
Okay, who's all going to be on the panel for today and tonight?
Rodney, Al Grainer, who is our farm business management instructor at Rugby.
Okay.
Keith Knutson And Keith is one of our farm business management instructors, but interestingly is also is a farmer as well, but kind of on a different aspect, kind of more on the vegetable side, aquaponics. And then an interesting addition to the panel is Stephanie Bloomhagen, and she's our grant writer, but she also is kind of a small agribusiness person. She has a company, I think it's called Meadowlark Granary, and she specializes in breads and pastries using locally sourced foods. And we thought it would be interesting because the new Farm Bill, it appears, has more support for small producers than we've seen in the past.
That's correct. And that's one of the things we want to talk about, too, is how the Farm Bill has changed over the years and its focus. And it has changed quite a bit.
Okay. The experts, now, for somebody like me, I mean, I could learn a lot going to something like this, and obviously we want to get as many people in this as we can. What would you say to the people who feel like well, I don't know if this is going to interest me or not. I might not learn much. I mean, obviously with the experts like you all have there, we can learn a ton of stuff, right?
I think so, and we've talked about this too. Our audience, there's probably going to be a lot of people there who have no knowledge whatsoever of this,
i.e. this guy right here, me. I got nothing.
Federal farm policy
right.
And what we typically call the Farm Bill and farm programs and stuff. And so it'll be rather generic, and we'll try and start rather simple and talk about what the focus of it has been and why it exists and how it's changed over time.
Okay, so this is a couple times again today. Noon today at Thatcher Hall, and then again a repeat at 7 o'clock tonight.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, anything else you guys want to add?
Nope, I think we covered it pretty extensively. Thank you.
All right, so we want to invite as many people as we can, get them there at noon, and then again at 7 o'clock tonight. Yeah. Thatcher Hall.
Thank you.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Rodney, give me 5, buddy. Jerry, give me 5. Yeah. All right, 8:36 at Sunny 101.9. Let's get into that last